easiest ones. Like green-black has like Reptile Convoy or like a lot of really powerful. Let's go and spectate. Okay, and now we're into game, and well, our challenger chose red-blue.
All right, they control.
The control deck. It's one of those if you can weather the storm. And I saw Fwosh kind of like moving her hands, and I understand now why she's playing the she's playing the hard deck.
Yes.
I said this again. I will keep saying it every time. It's my favorite deck out of these four. It has so many things to maneuver. It has like so many potential like really nice flare plays.
Right.
But you make one mistake, man.
Yes.
You make one.
That's kind of Sorlakan decks in a nutshell in a lot of ways, because she really needs to target. You kind of had to pigeonhole yourself in a lot of ways to just hit that tower.
Yeah, and that's where the Steam Cannons help a lot, right? Yes. Once you get to that 7 mana, you can always make a hole in whatever is in front of Sorlakan.
Yeah, she's set up 4 turns from now. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's actually pretty favored in this matchup in particular, because not only the red-blue deck comes online a little bit later, but also he doesn't have many creatures to block Sorlakan once you destroy the melee creep. Like the the green-black deck and the red-green deck have a bunch of creatures so that you can always plug in that hole.
This is the best matchup for the aggro. Only time will tell if she'll be able to hit the tower enough with that Sorlakan.
Yep, and again, with the 10 health handicap that we're giving them, it makes things a little bit more spicy.
Oh
and
yeah,
interesting.
No doubt. She did dodge a bullet. Bristleback did not one-shot Sorlakan. That's always a feels bad moment.
Yep.
Getting that 2 armor. In a lot of ways, I just give up on that lane.
You do?
Yeah, it depends on what kind of deck I'm playing, but this deck I would definitely not go back with Sorlakan. No doubt about it.
Yeah, having Bristleback to deal with is always pretty rough. So being able to avoid that, and also again like having Jamui being there and just chilling. He's gonna get there. He's gonna be a blue hero with like a pretty large health pool for blue hero. 8 is really comfortable. It makes you force those like eclipses to have 3 charges instead of 2 like other blue or black heroes make you expand. So you want to keep those healthy. Like 7 is a magic number when you're playing against Eclipse decks, because that means that you have to burn 3 charges of Eclipse to get rid of a hero instead of 2. And that makes it so that you are very healthy, and it forces you to maybe delay that Eclipse or force them to make a 50-50 play rather than just a guaranteed team wipe.
Cunning Blade is available to play. That'll swap the units essentially. So.
Did you call it Cunning Blade?
Cunning Plan? Did I say Culling Blade?
Yeah,
oh, I got Axe on the mind. After not drawing that Berserker Skull the whole game, he is on my mind.
Yep. Yeah, Cunning Plan is there sometimes.
It's okay. If played, well, it can't be played anymore, obviously, because she played Foresight, I believe.
Well, if you would have swapped, the Zeus would have done the damage to put him. Well, not anymore. It would have been. It wouldn't have been quite.
But then next turn, if you had played another blue card, it would have died right away because it only 1 HP.
So like Han's still alive.
You know, one card that I haven't played a lot until we saw these decks is Clear the Deck. I actually really like this card.
It's very, very underrated.
I think so too. I think it's quite good.
Yep, because you know, it's just, well, not really good in this particular position.
Right, because you want to be hitting, you want your heroes to actually be cleaving off of something.
Yep.
This is something that, one of those mechanics that a lot of people don't know straight away.
Right.
Hitting the tower, you're not going to cleave on anything else.
Just like in Dota.
Just like in Dota. I think there was a time in Dota when that did work, though.
Oh, God.
I'm mistaken, way back when.
Yeah. And getting rid of that Luna, always something that you want to do. You want to have that Luna die as much as possible, because every turn that she's in the fountain, it's a turn that those Eclipses don't get a charge. And in a game against a control deck that can go really long, the least amount of charges that you have in that Eclipse, the harder it is for it to deal. Eclipse already not a super strong card against this deck, because this deck goes so wide.
Right. It is good if you played Disciple of Nevermore, though. Then it destroys you.
Yes. And now Fwosh decides to not kill the Luna, just to put more tower. She's like, I need to go super aggressive.
Yeah. Plus, obviously you get an extra charge from Luna, but you delay her 1 more round, so she won't be up for that turn. That 6 mana.
That's another really clever thing. We talked about how important it is when you're playing blue to have a blue hero ready to deploy in turn 6.
Yeah.
And the way the game is going right now, that is not going to be possible for our challengers. So if somehow Fwosh manages to get rid of any of the blue heroes in the lane, they won't be available next turn. So for example, killing that Luna will make it so that there's no Eclipse available in lane 3. So she'll feel much more comfortable. And then she'll have to be careful of that on turn 7, but at least you delayed the turn. And sometimes the turn is all you need, especially in an aggro deck.
I mean, turn 7 is when, I would say normally turn 6 is when this deck comes online for the challenger, the control, but turn 7 especially against this aggro deck is really good. You got Echo Slam, deals damage based on how many units are actually on the floor, so that'll basically wipe a lot of these units from Fwosh. And then, of course, as we talked about, Thunder God's Wrath.
2 conflagrations, though, is really scary, right? Like,
yeah, those are good.
These are going to start to add up, and if he spends... unfortunately, he can't play 2 conflagrations because there's no blue hero in the second lane. But if he could play 2 conflagrations in this lane, then that would, like, completely clear everything that's going on here. Actually, that conflagration was from Fwosh. Sorry, my bad.
I mean, we got more conflagrations.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflagrations in this deck. Just to put the conflagration there, guaranteeing that Sorlakan is going to die. Sorlakan will still do the damage to the Bristleback because everything that happens at the beginning of the turn happens simultaneously. And that's a really interesting, I'm going to nerd out a little bit here.
By all means.
There's a lot of things that can happen at the beginning of the turn, and there's a lot of things that can happen after the combat phase. There's a lot of things that can happen as a trigger from like something else happening, like playing a blue spell. And everything about this is decided with magic work or commutativity in account. Like, you never need to forget what happens first, what happens later, because all the effects that can happen at a single stage can happen in a way that no matter which order you process them, the result will be the same. So no longer it's like, oh, does the damage happen first or does this other damage happen first? Like, no, you should think about like everything happens at the same time.
Yeah.
And you should never have any confusion.
Yep, that's definitely a good way to put it. We see Frostbite being used on the Bristleback to prevent any damage as he will be disarmed for that round.
Yeah, and now this is sweet for...
yeah, this is good.
Fwosh, that grazing shot has some good targets. She can kill the Zeus. There we go. Called it.
Perfect. And we're seeing that mana being refreshed. That is Crystal Maiden's global, I guess we can call it, passive ability, Arcane.
Yep.
Aura.
That's also pretty fantastic.
That's another undervalued ability.
Yeah, I think Crystal Maiden is a rough one to play, right? Has such a weak body that it's very easy to kind of ignore or overlook. But once you get her alive and you get like a Traveler's Cloak on her or something to make her a little bit survivable, then you get a lot of mileage out of that. His Hurricane Aura.
Yeah, that 5 HP is a killer. She dies almost every single round. That's why a lot of times you put her in the last lane, because if she dies, that's okay. At least you get her benefit in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing about hero deployment. There's some heroes that are better in the first lane. There's some heroes that are better in the third lane. If your hero has any type of like global ability, then you want those heroes in the first lane so that you can use them ahead of time, just using them for the second and third lane. If your hero has any kind of passive that works as long as she's alive, in the case of Crystal Maiden, that's one of the examples, you want that hero to be in the third lane in general. Now, of course, still normal rules apply, so you might want to cast a green spell, so you put blue spell, so you want to put the Crystal Maiden in the first lane, for example, and that makes total sense. But when you have the luxury of choosing, you want to put those heroes with passives further down the other lanes.
There's never one rule to this game. It's always if.
Yes.
There's always an if clause somewhere, right?
It's like programmers made it.
Exactly. So we're seeing some units. Red Mist Pillager is a great unit. Of course, it didn't have enough mana to play it once the units were actually gone there, but will replicate itself if it hits a tower. One of those very snowball-y creeps that can absolutely take over lane. You can't ignore it.
Yeah. So now there's a lot of things that could happen to save this Crystal Maiden. Traveler's Cloak plus Fountain Flask would make her survive.
She has the worst matchup here. This is probably the weakest stat here versus one of the best in the game.
Yep. He decides to pass. You know, she's like, okay, I'm happy with this Crystal Maiden dying. I don't want to stay in this lane. And now she might change her tune. Like, yeah, that's strafing run.
Beautiful.
It's so fantastic. Baited, absolutely baited. Getting rid of that. First of all, it's a 1 mana for 5 mana trade, so that's value there.
Yep.
But also, Red Mist Pillager can get out of control so fast. But with those 2 health, just, you know, getting him out of the way before it becomes a problem. Fantastic play from Fwosh.
And Bristleback, of course, as a result of killing a unit that was blocking him, will get 2 armor for the rest of the game.
And now we're 1 damage short, but when you're 1 damage short, you get the short sword.
That's right.
And that will give you 2 damage. And
value item.
Yes. I can't count how many times that item won me the game.
Really?
Yeah. Like, the amount of times you just 1 or 2 damage off and like...
You actually put short swords in your decks? Or maybe it's from the secret shop or something?
No, so I'm going to share a little bit of my theory crafting here. I think short sword is fantastic in blue decks. because blue decks don't make much money at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have ways to kill, so you can't put really expensive items. You want to put some cheap stuff. You want to put your Traveler's Cloak, you want to put your short swords, and those are fantastic. So yeah, getting your Crystal Mania from a 2-5 to a 4-5 doesn't look like much, but sometimes that's all you need, and like it adds up.
See, I wouldn't know anything about that because I play all my blue with black, and I get a lot of gold.
That is true.
Find that so much fun. Sorlakan, of course, has the 1 stack of Heartstopper aura, so can actually do a considerable amount of damage here in that first.
Yeah, and Heartstopper aura is piercing damage, so it will go through armor. That's pretty good. It still helps if you have negative armor. That's one of the things about piercing that is tricky and confusing to some people. Like, it will still do amplified damage to negative armor. It will just ignore positive armor.
Right, and negative armor really, really reacts badly against different instances of damage. So if you have Cleave, if you have Retaliate, they absolutely destroy armor.
Oh,
you're getting another instance of damage on top of the damage you're already doing.
Yeah, and now our challenger can click on that Fisher ability to get a stun on Sorlakan to make sure that Sorlakan won't do any damage. He hopes that he will kill her, but with the leather armor and the Traveler's Cloak, it will be enough for that Sorlakan to not die immediately straight away. He also has some other things that he might want to play. He might want to play the Conflagration.
Okay.
Goes for the Eclipse. 4 charges Eclipse. Oh, well, that was calculated.
Yes, something like that.
That was a high-risk play. And, I mean, it pays off. He saves the Fisher.
Yep.
The Fisher is ready for the
Fisher.
And on top of that, he wins the game, actually.
That's right. He does actually win the game. Goodness me.
Oh,
I was not
wow.
expecting that Eclipse to do so much damage.
Yeah. Calculated risk. Fwosh giving him the thumbs
some bad
up.
manner.
Yeah. Oh, what's with that? Red Miss Mall right there.
Just the extra 2 damage needed.
Yeah, and with that, Justin from San Francisco will take down our champion, Fwosh.
Good game.
Also from San Francisco.
Man, the challengers are really stepping it up.
I think people were watching yesterday, you know.
True. Yeah.
A bunch of people just trying to analyze the game, trying to watch the streams. I know there were a bunch of people from the community creating some fantastic content out there. I think your friend Buka was doing some stuff. Ken from LA.
Ken from LA,
Ken from LA. You know, there's a lot of stuff. So, yeah, we're happy that people are absorbing some of that knowledge pretty fast, and we see them rise up the ranks.
Yeah, I think when the first time that you started describing Artifact way back when you guys slowly gave information out to the public, the idea was it's like Dota but for card games, which kind of scares some people away because it's so but after playing it, after you guys see it just for a little bit, you start to pick it up really fast. So in that sense, it's a smaller learning curve than Dota for sure.
Yeah, but again, like, I think it has you can pick up fast, but I've been playing this game for like over 3 years now, and I still don't know.
There's so much depth.
Yes,
That's
still
the
have.
beauty of it.
We can spend, and one of the things that I really enjoy watching this game, like, I mean, I'm a spectator sports fan by nature, right? Like, I've worked in Dota before, like you do, and so spectating is a big thing for me, and spectating Artifact matches is just fantastic because you get to see both sides, and you get to be like, what are you doing? What are you planning to do? You get to see when people commit mistakes, and then you get to see, well, like, actually, that wasn't a mistake.
Right.
I would have never done that, but it just happened. And
like when
just won
Slacks
again.
made that one Blink Dagger play, that blew my mind.
That was fantastic.
I didn't know his mind was capable of such things.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, fantastic stuff. And we will have another challenger. What is our challenger name, Q? Come again, what's the name? Jason from Seattle. So Jason from Seattle has battled a lot of people to get here.
So what exactly do they have to go through? They have to beat 5 people?
So they have to play against the AI first. Doesn't matter if you lose or win. You just learn in the game, right?
Okay.
Like, you play against the AI. It's a 30-30 health game as well. After the game against the AI is over, you start playing other people. And you play people that are used to learn. So the first time, you will play someone that hasn't played against anyone before. Then after that one, you...
So it's actual matchmaking?
Yes.
That's pretty sick.
And then after you win that one, you play against someone that also won a game. It's kind of like a Swiss format if you're...
So if you lose, you're just out?
If you lose, you're out. You get to go home with a lot of swag. There's artists there signing prints.
Oh, that's true.
Really
pretty,
awesome
pretty
prints.
Amazing.
Artifact shirts, tote bags, pins. I don't know. There's so much stuff.
There's a lot.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff. So
lanyard.
Lanyard. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's one's for us.
It was in my bag. Maybe I got.
Oh, it's in the bag. Oh, great. Never mind. More power to them.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff for people playing, and you don't have to win in a single game. But for people that win 4 games against humans, and you will be paired with a different deck every time. So you will get to play all 4 decks.
Cool.
then
You get to
you get the
experience
chance.
all of them, and then you actually get to choose. So I do have to. This is more for my sake than anybody.
Okay.
The champion. Oh, why are we calling them champions? It should be heroes. The heroes here that are playing. Not only do they have 30 health towers, Bruno, but they can't choose their deck either.
They can't choose their deck.
It's random. So we have
Right.
a small disadvantage.
A slight disadvantage.
But we haven't played in quite a
But,
while.
I mean, you do understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, if you
of
didn't
course.
have this advantage, the game would be a little bit more one-sided. So, giving you a chance to save face.
Yes, it's always a good to have an excuse. I don't know what Slax's excuse is, losing almost every single game on stage.
I know, but he's having fun with it, so that's
Yes.
all that matters.
That's right.
We are ready to go with our next match. And actually, by the way, guys, this is going to be the last match before Sir Action Slacks takes over with an interview with Dr. Richard Garfield.
I am so hyped for that.
Yes.